Mike here for the Mountain Wellness Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at mountainwellness.podcast, and you can find us on all major platforms. Behind me is my loadout gear for Mt.Whitney. We're going about a week from now, and it's 21 miles in less than 24 hours. So it's a very long, rigorous day hike, something like 6,000 feet elevation change. So there's a lot of things that I've learned to carry in the Sierras over the years. And then there'll be some specific things that you might find helpful to you. So let's take a look at the gear loadout for Mt.Whitney. Okay, so this is my Mt.Whitney checklist. I always have a checklist with me. This way I can add to it over a couple of weeks, make sure I get everything that I need. I don't have to keep thinking about what I'm taking and being stressed out about what I'm taking with me on the trip because it's all right here in Google Docs. Okay, so I have a down jacket there, puffy, you all know what that is. It is not waterproof. That's what this shell is for. That's going to keep me warm at the top, depending on the temperature. I'm not too worried about the temperature, but taking those anyways. Thin pair of shorts, very thin, North Face, that's probably what I'll be hiking in. No chafing, I've been using those for years. They work amazing. And I can just take my pants on and off and pull them right over my shorts. I don't have to worry about underwear. All you're doing is removing and adding your pants depending on if there's big temperature swings, which we get a lot of in the Sierras. I have a neck gaiter here, keeps your face warm, keeps dirt and sand out in a windstorm, and also for just wiping your face. I always try to take that with me. Grip6 Socks. Those are moisture wicking merino wool and odorless. Very good socks. I wear these when trail running. I'm very happy with them. It's going to cut down on blisters, going to cut down on odor, and it's merino wool, so it's very soft. People think wool is scratchy. Not that stuff. Got lightweight pair of gloves here, again, protecting the extremities in a bad situation, and that's what the beanie's for. And then I also have a pair of gloves specifically for my trek poles because you can get blisters on trek poles. So I wear gloves all the time because that's where you can get blisters just like you can on your feet from all the contact and the rubbing. Carry a bandana, slings, tie-offs, all kinds of multiple use things. So just like to have that. Don't know if we need a bug net. I don't know how bad the bugs are, but I've been in the Sierras where the bugs are terrible. So I like to have a lightweight bug net with me. Just so I don't have to deal with it. I'll try to find out what the bug situation is. And then just a pair of gaiters to keep your feet clean because it can get pretty dirty and dusty over the top. Keep rocks out and all that. So that's basically my clothing situation. You see my SOL bag here. So if you got stuck overnight, you can climb into this. It is waterproof. It is a bag. You just climb into it. It reflects your body heat just to keep you alive. It's not going to keep you warm, but you're probably not going to die in the mountains because you were stuck overnight, which can happen and has happened on Mt.Whitney many times. People have stayed the night, unfortunately, and some people have died on Whitney. So we take that seriously. This is all extra gear. You know, it's a little bit overkill in some ways, but it's mainly designed for if I was in a situation where I was forced to stay overnight. I'm not going to freeze to death or whatever could happen out there. Okay, so then let's talk about food. I have energy bars, Kion bar and Tonka bars. So this is pretty much high fat. There's no whey protein in this. That's why I like these bars. Whey protein tends to give you stomach aches and cramps when you are eating that on the trail, on the move, under a heavy load. That's why I don't eat whey protein on the trail. And then the Tonka bars are amazing because it's cranberry and buffalo, and it's like beef jerky. Had to eat one of those to try it. Loved it. So those will be going with us, half a dozen. We'll each be eating half a dozen of those. Plus the paleo granola, which is amazing. It's from Sun Life Organics. That stuff is incredible. I'm taking that with me. And then I have my GoPro. So on my GoPro, this would be my luxury item, 7 GoPro batteries because we know how they last. That'll be our main photography unit, 4K. It works really well. And then this is a Garmin GPS Inreach Mini. I do not go into the backcountry any longer without these. Been in situations where I wished I would have had it, and now I do. And so you can do two-way text with search and rescue, and you don't have. It's just a very comforting thing knowing you have that, especially if you're with a group of people where more things can go wrong. Then I have a Sawyer mini water system. So this is very efficient. The backcountry used it for years. Use it with smart water bottles. It's a whole system. It's fantastic. It's like 20 bucks on Amazon. Works amazing. A lot of people like to take huge knives into the backcountry. I don't know what that is with the 10-inch Bowie knife trying to do combat with a hand-to-hand combat with a bear. I don't understand. These are too heavy. I don't use these. I use this. This is a Leatherman. Well, it weighs like 7 ounces. I don't know. It's really lightweight. Has everything I need. Used it for years. I don't use giant knives and giant Leatherman tools. They're very well made and they're good. I just don't use them in the backcountry. Too heavy. Then I have a first aid kit here. Primarily a blister kit, but I have the combined with my first aid kit. So I carry Band-Aids, antibiotic ointment, dressings, gauze, whatever is needed, plus ibuprofen, aspirin. So yeah, I love the, and this blister kit is set up, you can get it on Amazon again it's called Blister Pod. And blisters are a big problem, especially when you're going that far in one day. Feet get wet, moisture, you're going to have issues. So, that's why we take the Leukotape, or Leukotape. This stuff is unbelievable. I do not go in the backcountry without Leukotape. I don't use duct tape. To me, this is far superior. I wrap it around my trek poles, which again, I'm taking trek poles because on a descent, you'd be crazy not to have trek poles, but this I wrap it around here so I can get to tape really quick if I have to do a fast repair job. I don't want to search through my pack. I can just pull a piece of tape off here. Been doing that for years, works great. So yeah, so again, on the Leukotape, this stuff, I've had 3 days after getting off the trail, taking a shower, I forgot it was still stuck to me. You can use it when you start getting a hot spot with a blister. If you can get it ahead of time, this stuff will not come off. Moleskin, medical tape is a waste of time. It comes off. It's going to come off on you and you're going to get a blister. So that's just my recommendation. Talked about food, talked about the GoPro, talked about water. So liquid IV. So I'm carrying liquid IV electrolytes and sea salt. I carry a little bit of each, but I always carry the electrolytes because oftentimes we get dehydrated in the backcountry. People think dehydration is mountain sickness. They get confused. There's a number of things that can cause what people think are mountain sickness or elevation sickness, but it could be just a simple fact that you're dehydrated, don't have enough salt in your system, your electrolytes are imbalanced, you haven't eaten enough food. There's a lot of other things that can simulate mountain sickness. I deal with mountain sickness through breath work. It's my own technique. I have ways to avoid mountain sickness, so we can cover that in a little bit. I do know I have live fire here, so this is like a really lightweight gel fire, letting it last like 30 minutes burn time, so emergency situation. Very lightweight with a lighter, of course, and then this stuff, green goo first aid. This stuff is amazing. Don't go in the backcountry without it. Been using it for years. Rashes, insect bites, scrapes, poison ivy, literally anything with the skin. I mean, you can use it even as chapstick. Unbelievable stuff. Never go without it. Backup batteries for the headlamps. Going to have multiple headlamps in the backcountry. Set of backup batteries for night travel. And then, let's see down below here. Charger. Don't know if I need the charger, but I'm taking it with me. Then I have a cell phone case here. Your cell phone is going to be used for navigation. You're going to use it for a number of different things. Also using it with the oxygen saturation meter. You drop your cell phone out there and crack your lens, you have a real problem, especially if you're using it for navigation. So this goes into a backup special. It has a full case around it, protect it. Use a pair of glasses. Of course, you're taking a hat and glasses into the Sierras because of the sun. I like to use the back like this because you can drop your glasses, step on them, watch them hit a rock, and scratch your $200 pair of glasses, and then you could be sad as you walk down the trail. And then I have a hat, of course, with back and side flaps to keep the sun off the ears and off the back if I need to. Probably wear it. Using Speed Goat 4s from Hoka on the trail because they were unbelievable on Mount Baldy. Love those shoes. I wear Brooks for years, but all I'll say is that I switched. And then Up here, I have my 24-liter Osprey, smaller size pack, and I love this pack. So far, I've used it a few times and I've really enjoyed it. These sections are too small for my cell phone, so I had to get a separate belt pack for it. So important that your cell phone fits right somewhere, because I had gotten it in here and it had fallen out on the trail on Mount Baldy. Almost left it behind, but luckily I realized it was gone. Again, you know, when you're navigating with it, you want to go the extra mile for your cell phone. If you noticed, we talked about smart water bottles and using the Sawyer mini system. I always carry my water on the shoulder. There's a couple of reasons for that. It's because, number one, of course, it's handy. I can get to it. More importantly, number two, when that water's going down with electrolytes in there, you're going to know that you need to get water, and you're going to know if you're drinking enough. So again, a lot of problems that people have on the trail is dehydration because they're not drinking enough. Having your water here is best. Having it around your back where you can't see it and you don't feel like reaching around to get it and asking someone to get your water, you don't drink enough, you get dehydrated, and you don't even know how much water you're carrying. That's all I'm going to say about that. This is the best. So that about covers it. If there's anything else you guys can think of that I should be carrying, hit me up, but I'm pretty much there. I will be, when it comes to food, I will be carrying salami, cheese, and crackers, so I'm not going to do a lot of carbs. Again, I do mostly fat and low carb, and there's very good reasons for that. If you're doing a high carb and eating a lot of sweets on the trail, your energy is going to be going like a roller coaster, and I can't stand that. I like fat as my primary fuel source. I don't have cravings and wild up and downs on the trail, so I will be using primarily fat with some carbs. I still eat some carbs, just not a lot. Okay, that about covers it. Also, I'll be taking the oxygen saturation meter with me. I don't know if we talked about this. This will be able to measure our oxygen saturation, which should tell us if we're feeling lightheaded or not feeling great. It'll give us a good warning that we're somewhere probably around 90 is what my experiences have been. And then we just pull off trail, do my specific breathwork technique that I learned. That raises your oxygen saturation level, and a lot of times that will alleviate any kind of mountain sickness feeling. But again, a lot of times the mountain sickness feeling isn't even mountain sickness, where it could just be simply dehydration, happens a lot, not enough food in your system, or you don't have a good cadence. You're breathing too hard and fast through the mouth and dehydrating yourself. So again, if you're breathing through your nose, you would gain about 50% more moisture in your system. So you're not dehydrating yourself if you're breathing through your nose. And you're probably thinking, how am I going to breathe through my nose with a pack on going uphill? Well, it can be trained and it can be learned, and that's what we do. And that controls your heart rate, helps with moisture depletion, helps with recovery, helps with a number of things, creating nitric oxide. It is the way to go. Okay, so that is the loadout for Mt.Whitney's day hike, 21 miles in less than 24 hours. I might have forgotten a few things here to mention, but I have my checklist, so I can always add to this checklist right up until I go, and it eliminates a lot of anxiety about stuff you're taking on the trip. This is a long trip, so you want to have everything dialed in. You can follow us on the Instagram at mountainwellness.podcast, or on the major platforms, Apple, Spotify. I'm going to be documenting this trip. One of the things I'm going to be doing is breath work on the way up. So you might want to tune in for that, because we have a way to deal with elevation symptoms, which is very common in the Sierras. And so our breath work technique works really well. That's why I'm taking the oxygen saturation meter. We're going to do some data gathering, and it should be a good trip. I hope to see you guys on the mountain.